We just started out wanting to farm, wanting to do something with our family's land.
Animals are born here, live here their whole life. The only time they ever leave the farm is the day they get on the trailer to go to be processed. We don't feed any hay, we graze 365 days a year. That's kind of an advantage because we didn't know how everybody else was supposed to be doing it. So, you know, you just read a lot of books and videos, and I come across this style of management.
700,000 pounds of animals per acre. Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So we are at Running Tea Farm, and by the way, I love your brand.
Thank you.
That is an awesome brand. Where did that come from?
Just out of thin air.
Yeah.
Obviously the T for Teague, our last name.
Okay, okay.
So we just tried to come up with a brand.
Yeah, it's clever.
Interesting brand. So we do brand our cattle with that brand too.
You do?
So
Okay.
our brood cows, we don't brand our market animal with that.
Because you've got a really big farm here. How many acres did you say that you have?
Total land base is about 1,000 acres.
Okay.
And real close to 500 acres of it is grazable grassland.
Wow. And you do mostly beef cows.
All beef cows.
All beef cows. How many cows do you have?
Well, we're really understocked at the moment. We
Okay.
got about 185 head, but we need somewhere around 450 to 500 total head. So
Okay, wow.
we just leased a new farm, which left us needing more cattle.
Your wife had said before we hopped in the gator that this land has been in your family for a long time.
1753, the original farm right there where our house is, 271 years.
Wow. Has it always been as big as it is?
No, well, I mean,
Okay.
there's only 40 acres left of the original. The original
Okay.
family farm was a little over 300 acres. That was purchased back in 1753
Wow.
from
That's a
the
lot of acreage.
from
back
the
then.
Earl of Granville. It was before the United States was even a country. And over the years, as they passed it down, it got sold off, but we have the remaining, the 40 acres that was original family farm from 1753 that's been in my wife's continuous family line since then.
Wow, that's crazy. We've been on some old farms, especially up here in North Carolina, but I think yours chalks to the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Is that common with you around here?
Hey, turn that fence off, will you? Oh, never mind. I can turn it off with the remote. Let me just in case.
Okay. That's a nice doohickey.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
Yeah, it is. You
So
don't have to go all the way back.
this is just another farm that we rent. That house right up there is actually, it's been here since it's been here since the 1700s. Part of that, it's been added on to, but the
So
original
the brick,
part.
the fireplace is probably part of the original house.
Yeah, it's been here a long, long time. This is another one. This is a rented farm here that we rent. Our working facilities is here, so we usually have the cattle through here a time or two a year, but we haven't grazed it this year and won't graze it probably until this winter.
So, Brandi, you just walked up.
Yes.
We didn't get to introduce you a second ago, but this is part of your family, like your lineage.
Our home farm, yes.
The home farm. And your husband was telling me, like, what was it,
53.
1753. That is so old and so cool.
Yeah, we
Wow.
we're proud of that.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it in farm. So, you know, it seems like in our area, which like a lot of areas, you grow houses.
Yeah.
And we want to grow cows. So.
Yeah. But you're kind of in a nice place here because you're not actually that close to the major city, right? Like Winston-Salem, Charlotte, right? You're not
we're probably
that
45
close.
minutes from Charlotte.
Okay.
30 from Winston.
Okay, so you're closer than I thought. It doesn't feel that close.
Yeah.
It feels like we're out in the country, for sure.
Well,
We're fortunate it's still pretty rural around here, but we are seeing a lot of development
Are you?
pressure.
a lot of pressure.
Keeps buying up these smaller developers, keep buying up these smaller farms and putting housing developments on it. So.
Yeah. How does that work for a farm your size?
What's that?
All of the people coming in, like what does that do to you? Is it positive, negative?
To be decided, I guess. I don't know. I guess time will tell. I mean, obviously we direct market 100% grass-fed beef, so we hope they'll buy some beef from us. But
Right.
And we sell a lot of beef locally, probably 90% of it within the state.
Within the state.
But we ship to all over, so we've sent beef from California to Florida to Maine. New York. We sent some to New York last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Awesome. Let's walk down this way a little bit.
Sure.
So you guys raise 100% grass-fed beef. With the farm being as old as it is and being in your family for so long, has that been what it always has been, or when did it turn beef, and why are you doing grass-fed beef?
So it went beef in, I think, 2014. Actually, the part of the farm that we live on now, our family farm, was leased out. My dad farmed, my grandparents farmed, but Dad did mostly crop production.
Okay.
And then in the 80s, he got out of that. Like
most farmers in the 80s, yeah.
And it was leased out. And so...
so he kept ownership?
Yes,
yeah.
He just leased
the
property.
Okay.
To other farmers.
We decided, 2014, that we wanted to do something with the farm.
Yeah.
We're out here and let's make it productive. And we brought in some cattle. We brought in some dairy calves, first of all, which was an eye-opener for me as to how, maybe we need to be raising these animals out on pasture.
Okay. Why? Where did that come from?
Have you ever bottle fed a dairy calf?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, try it.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
And watch it die.
Okay.
It's just not a natural setting, and they're not as healthy.
Okay.
There's a lot of inputs and a lot of care, and a lot of everything has to go perfect, and a lot of just because they're not raised with their mothers, and you don't even realize that till you see animals that are raised with their mother.
Okay, so you're saying that because the calf is pulled off the dairy cow so early, and then you're bottle feeding it, it's not getting a good start.
It's not getting a good start, and
I
it's
see what you're saying.
not a natural setting. But that was that was one of my first eye openers about, hey, let's do something different.
Okay.
And we went from there to let's just keep building our beef herd.
Okay.
And I mean, it's been an evolution as far as the grass-fed beef. We also had the health. We wanted to raise healthy beef.
Yeah.
And with my generation, I've evolved over the years we want clean beef. We want chemical-free. We don't want any of this stuff in our children.
Yeah.
So that's where we've kind of evolved into grass-fed beef.
Okay.
And the way we raise the beef. But we just started out wanting to farm, wanting to do something with our family's land.
Yeah. And keep that legacy going. I mean, I'm going to do some really bad math here. How many years is that? 300?
What's that? 1753?
Yeah.
207.
So almost 300. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. That's hard to digest. When you say the U.S. wasn't even a country yet.
1776 is when that happened.
When my family was farming this land, the U.S. wasn't even a country yet. Like I can just, I don't know. I guess like the documentaries are going through my head of like seeing like cowboys running around here.
Well, it was, historically they had it in, so they produced just about, as far as we can tell, about every kind of cash crop that could be grown here, from tobacco to cotton, corn. All of these little farms around here in the early to mid 1900s were small dairies. There's that little building that you see up there with the two windows. That's actually an old milking parlor. Everybody milked, anywhere from 6 to, if you milked 20 cows, you was a larger producer.
You're big time.
Yeah, so everybody, her father milked, when he was coming up, they milked like 12 or 15 cows.
Yeah.
So everybody did that, and then they just kind of, a lot of them progressed from there as these smaller dairies just started shutting down. They just kind of transitioned over into row crops, most of them. And that's what our farm, if you'd notice back at our home farm, it's pretty open. There's no trees because we're
row cropping.
They don't want any trees.
How is your farm, I don't know, how are you managing that evolution that it's going through?
Well, we just try to, we like Brandi said, we don't use any chemicals. We don't use any chemical fertilizer, no pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. We don't deworm our cattle. We just try to do it as natural approach as we can, using the cattle to do that. So that's what we've done. You know, you can look behind you there. There's some very diverse forage there.
The pastures look awesome.
That we didn't plant any of that. You know, that's all just. And this particular farm we're standing on it had beef cattle on it previously before we rented it.
Okay.
But it was just continuous grazing for a long, long time. They've never, grass was always looked like a golf course, and you know, so and of course we're big conservationists. We fenced all of the creeks out. We don't allow our cattle to be in the creek.
I assume that this is a natural spring-fed creek.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it runs all the time.
Nice, clean, cold water.
Yep, and that's the way we like to keep it, because our boys like to go play in the creek, so we like to keep the water nice and clean. And we've put in water points all around the farm, fixing to put in a lot more on the rented farm. But we just try to do it as natural as possible. We do some seeding, you know, on the cropland. We've raised annual crops on it, but we'll be transitioning it all to perennial grass and over the next year or two.
What really sparked you wanting to do things as naturally as possible? Was it just the dairy calf that you were like, I want to get away from that, or?
So for me, it's just been an evolution from the get-go.
Okay.
So, I mean, not only have we changed the way we raise our livestock, we've changed the way we eat and feed our family.
Okay.
And when you start going down that rabbit hole, you start seeing the health problems that you have and didn't even know you had, especially, you know, our generation. It kind of started there even years before, but then when my children were born, there's just so much.
Yeah.
You don't want your kids exposed to this or to that. And so if we can raise clean meat, we can feed them clean meat. If we can keep keep as much chemicals and harmful objects away from our children. In that respect.
Absolutely.
I just look at it and say, would I buy it? You know, what kind of questions would I have? And sometimes I'm a little, you know, sometimes I'm even harder on it than others, you know, like even with our chickens, I refuse to feed anything but organic feed.
Because you guys do chickens every now and then.
Yeah, we do.
Once seasonally.
And so I'm just like, I don't want the Roundup even going through the feed on my pastures.
Yeah.
That's just, and so sometimes, you know, you're like, is it balanced? Is it not? But, you know, I shoot for 100%. We hope to be 50%. Just because of the world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, we are in modern times, right?
We're functionally organic farm. I mean, we don't carry an organic certification just because I don't feel the need to pay somebody to tell me what I already know I'm doing.
Yeah.
And our customers haven't, you know, they can go, they know what we do and how we do it. She's very good. Brandi does all of our marketing, runs our website, does our shipping and everything, and does a great job with it. So people can go to our website and see how we raise our stuff. I've got a YouTube channel myself.
Awesome! I didn't know that.
That's got videos upon videos on our cattle management and how we manage our cows. So
we'll be sure to put that link in the description, and people can go see that too.
We do that so people can see what we're doing. They know how their animals are being treated, how they're raised. We're birth to harvest. We don't buy in any animals, so animals are born here, live here their whole life. The only time they ever leave the farm is the day they get on the trailer to go to be processed. So
that's awesome.
We got complete accountability of that animal from the day it was born until it leaves. And not a lot of places do that. I'm not saying that it makes us any better. We just have we're fortunate enough to have a big enough land base that we can do that.
Right.
A lot of people aren't, and they have to buy cattle and finish them or something, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we like being able to have complete control and know how the animal's been treated and what it's eat and what it's not been given, and from day one.
For sure. Let's walk back this way and we'll head back up to the go-getters and go see the calves. But on our way there, what has your timeline looked like? So from the time that you guys acquired or lived on the farm to the calf that you had, the bottle fed calf that you had, to today? What's that timeline look like?
Well, let's see, 2014 when we started the calves, and then we quickly switched from that to just let's start raising some beef animals. We kind of made the decision in 17 or 18 to really look into let's go grass-fed beef, not commodity beef. You know, we're gonna keep some, not sell them at weaning.
Right.
And so 2019, toward the end of the year, we got everything together. It took me a year to get the website built, to decide how we're going to store this beef, how we're going to sell this beef, because we both were working full-time jobs.
Okay, and you did a lot of planning then.
We did all this planning.
Wow, okay,
we
that's
got
awesome.
the labeling, you know, went through USDA, found our processors. So late July 2019, we got our meat handlers, we got our beef back. Early August, we were ready to go, and end of August, I get two little surprises. I find out that I'm pregnant. Not only am I pregnant, I'm 6 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
So we had babies the 1st of December.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yep.
As a woman, you weren't just surprised 6 months pregnant. You had twins.
Yeah, yes, identical, high risk.
Wow.
So,
okay.
And you know, this is, which I get emotional telling this, but I'm like, this was the Lord.
Yeah.
Because if you can imagine being a mom or an expectant mom of twins, that whole website prep, that whole we got to get this going was like, would not have happened.
No.
It was almost like we got going. And God said, okay, you're on the right path. I'm giving you somebody to leave it to. So.
Aw, now you're gonna make me emotional. Dang it! This is the second time now that I've gotten teary on camera.
But it's, you know, so we really feel like, you know, we were supposed to bring our children up this way.
Yeah.
And when we had this whole mindset switch, which it was gradual, but you know, let's raise it, let's be regenerative, you know, let's make sure that we're not taking out, we're putting back, and we're keeping it clean, and then, you know, we're bringing children into the world. It's like, you know, it's like the universe saying, hey guys, you're doing something right, let's keep it going. So we really feel, I'm very passionate about what we're doing. We're hoping to build a business and build a farm that you can live, that our children want to take over.
Yeah.
We don't want them to have to work themselves to death to barely scrape by and watch their children leave the farm, which is what happened 2 generations ago.
I think that's a wonderful segue to go see the cows.
All right.
Because I haven't seen anybody manage their pastures the way that you're doing it. So let's go see the cows.
Let's
Can we
do it.
that? Okay. How do you feel then about kind of coming back into the family legacy of farming?
I like it. I mean, if you would have asked me, I would have never guessed that I would be farming. If you would have asked me 20 years ago, that would have been probably the last thing that I would have wanted to have done was farm.
Really?
I'm a general contractor. I still build. I really like it.
So because you're a general contractor, this is why you have this amazing setup here, right?
Well, I don't
is that
know
right?
about that. I mean, we just bought. You can come on through.
Sure.
We just moved into this. This will be the 3rd day in this strip here.
And what do you call these?
What's that?
I call them paddocks. What did you call it?
Yeah, so I mean, I would call this a grazing sale here.
Okay.
This is about a 3-day sale, and we move them 4 times a day. So they've had like 12 paddocks in this, you know, that moves. And I would caution you to watch where you step.
Oh yeah, you're good.
We graze at high stock density, so there's always plenty of manure around. I think they're grazing at about 700,000 pounds of live weight to the acre.
Wow, wait a
Right
minute.
now.
700,000 pounds per acre.
Yep.
That's the amount of animals that you have grazing.
Yeah, right now.
I'm gonna say it again. 700,000 pounds of animals per acre.
That's per break. So I mean,
Holy cannoli. And you have, how many cows did you say? 100? Well,
there's 175 right there in this group.
okay. Dang, and they move
Dung
4 times a day.
beetles.
Look at those. Ooh. You know a real farmer when they get excited about dung beetles. I was walking the field with somebody a couple weeks ago, and every cow pie he walks by, he's like touching it with his boot and
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah, we get excited about poop.
Absolutely. That's the gold out here. So is this just mama cows? Do you have feeders in here as well?
Right now, this is the whole cow herd. Like I said, we're way understocked. So we've actually in the process of changing our calving season from a fall calving season to, we're actually start calving in about 25 days, 25 days. May 10th, I think, first, however many days that is. So we've split the herd in half. We've bred half of them for the fall, half of them for the spring. So we've got a very wide range of animals now. We've got some calves that are 7 months old. And since we're birth to harvest, we've got them, you know, we usually process our animals at 24 months. So we've got them from 7 months old to 24 months old on the calves, and up to, you know, our cows. Some of our cows are 10 years old, but they're all together right now. But we will be weaning calves here just in a week or so, and we'll pull our finishing animals out at that point too, so we can graze them a little bit more selectively. So we use the cows primarily for land improvement, and then we usually graze the the finishing animals and stuff will be with them all except for, you know, from now till about October.
And how many calves do you finish a year? Like, how many calves do you process a year?
I think about 30, 35 right now.
Wow.
But that's that number's going up.
Yeah. Well, especially if you said you're changing your breeding times.
Yeah.
And so that's probably going to double then, right?
Yeah, we should get to where I mean, if we was when we're fully stocked and everything's going, we'd probably process 125, 150 head a year.
Dang.
And like I said, we'll be birth to harvest, so we'll have the whole.
You like own the whole processing plant then at that point.
No, not hardly, but yeah, I mean, so we can take a look. We move water. And I need to look at this because it actually sprung a leak this morning when I was over here. So I move this water every morning when I move the cows. We've got pressurized water over there, and I've just got a piece of poly pipe. There's about 1,600 feet of that just laying on the top of the ground out through here. You can't see it because of the grass, so I just drag it along and move this so that they don't mess up. If you leave it in one spot too long, it just makes a mess. So it's just a 150-gallon tank. We move it. You can see the one wire lifter there has raised. You see that?
Let's get to that in a minute. Yeah. We'll finish. So you got the nice water with
just a float valve there. I just fixed that up so your hose wouldn't be sticking up in the air to kink. But yeah, we try to keep them nice, clean.
It's clear.
Clean water.
Very clear.
We dump it out every morning. I dump it out and just drag it by hand down to the next spot there.
So let's walk to the next spot. So you move these guys 4 times a day.
That's correct.
That sounds like a lot of work, but you're not doing the moving.
Right, well,
I mean physically.
Yeah, so I do it first thing in the morning. I always like to check on them, you know, first thing in the morning. Like I said, I'll move that water up. So
you personally do it first thing in the morning?
I personally do the first move of the day and just check everything. You know, if I'm going to have to be here, you need to be here to make sure their water's squared away and they're squared away. I mean, our cells that we're building are all temporary fencing, as you can see all the way around us. There's
just polywire.
Yeah. So we build about a 3-day cell usually, and then we'll graze that off in 4 breaks a day. So, you know, about 12 of these where they're at now, and they just moved in here. I don't know, they've been in here
like 30 minutes now?
Close to an hour. So they
hour.
moved into this one about an hour ago.
So what is this thing? Are we able to go back in?
Sure.
And check it out?
It's a Penn's Agro polywire lifter.
It's called a what? Penn's Eye?
Penn's Agro is the company who makes them.
Okay. Oh, I see. Penn's Agro. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
And you just set these.
What?
You just set these at whatever time you want them raised, and when that time comes, it just raises up like that, and it'll actually beep several times real loud. It won't do it right now because I did it manually.
Right.
But if you got it programmed, it just beeps several times so the cows hear it and they go under into the next cell. So
Does it beep again before it goes back down so the cows know?
I don't ever have it lower because their water's behind them. They always got to have access to their water. You actually can program them to drop if you want them to, depending on what you're doing with them, but I just have them raised. There's another one there and another one over there.
So you've got it set up, so we've got like one big long rectangle.
That's right.
And then they're in the first area for so many hours.
Yep.
The first pins aggro goes up, and then a few more hours later, the next one goes up. And because there's way more grass in here than there is where they came back from, and they just keep going on.
Yep. They just keep going on. We try to harvest just as much of it as we possibly can.
I mean, it's mob graze, basically.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to the take half, leave half scenario, and we can walk over here. You can see where it's not been grazed. There'll be, once we finish this up later today, I'll set up another cell right over there and we'll go that way with it. But this grass was grazed this way last year. The only difference was we was in severe drought last year, so but through proper grazing management, you can do a good job.
Why are you doing it this way? I understand doing it because if you want to move them 4 times a day, and if you have a construction job, you're not here, she's with the kids, she can't always come out here. But why not just give them the whole area for the whole day?
Just you get better harvest efficiency.
Of the grass?
Of the grass.
Okay.
Plus you get much more concentrated animal impact, manure, urine, as you've seen walking through the pasture. So it's just better for the soil, so they don't graze as selectively. If you see that right there, that's a thistle, or what's left of it. So that's what it would have looked like, something like that before. And I'll bet you before the day's over, they reach under there and eat that one. So we don't have very, very many weeds because the cows consume almost everything. The only reason they didn't eat part of this grass that you see here is just because it's been fouled. They've pooped in it, or one of them stepped in that and dragged their foot across part of it.
Because the cows, as much as people talk about it, cows actually won't eat what they've pooped on. That's why there's conversation about like hay waste and stuff like that.
Right.
If they walk on it or lay on it, it's done for. They're not going to eat it.
So we minimize that. It's the way to maximize nutrient cycling and minimize fouling by grazing like this. It's strictly a land. That's a function of doing something better for the land.
Yeah.
And you're able to keep a more even plane of nutrition on your cattle. If done right, it's better for the cattle, better for the land.
Where did you learn about this? Because you said that you didn't grow up farming.
No.
And the way that your wife grew up farming, Brandi, yours was, well, if your dad started leasing it, then you didn't really grow up farming.
No.
So where did you learn this kind of technique from?
I think that's kind of an advantage because we didn't know how everybody else was supposed to be doing it. So, you just read a lot of books and videos, and I come across this style of management really with whenever I read Johann Zeitsman's book, Man, Cattle, and Veld.
Ooh, I haven't heard of that one
So
yet.
it's a fantastic book on cattle management and breeding. He's a South African cattle farmer. Of course, if you're on YouTube or whatever, you can check out, he's got all kinds of videos, classes and stuff he's done years back. But that's how I came to this. And another guy, Jim Elizondo, him and Johann Zeitzman used to work together and stuff back in the early 2010s and stuff, and both of them got a very similar philosophy. But that's how we wound up here. I always say Johann Zeitzman literally wrote the book on ultra high stock density non-selective grazing, which is what we try to do. We try to graze. We want the whole playing field leveled every time we get done. We don't want them selecting one plant over the other one, because it just it ends in transition of from your most palatable species to unpalatable species, because they're being favored. So we don't want them to favor anything. So we try to graze it all off, and then we allow however much time it takes to recover. Our recovery periods will generally be a little bit longer, but
How long?
so that just greatly depends on the season, the forage, the rain.
Right, of course,
you know,
of course.
it's
The wonderful answer of it depends.
it depends. But we will not graze something before it's recovered.
Yeah.
Like
So
that
you want
is.
it to be pretty high before
Yeah,
it's...
this is actually the very first pass on. We've been grazing stockpiled forage all the way up till 3 days ago. So
What
this
does that
is our
mean?
first. We don't feed any hay. We graze 365 days a year.
Okay.
So we just finished up grazing forage that had been stockpiled all last growing season, and started on this. We delayed grazing. Most people would have started on that a lot quicker, but we want it to get taller. It gives a more balanced ration for the animal. The animals do better, healthier.
Right.
So
Not as runny poo.
right.
Yeah. Very cool. So Brandi, if you said he's kind of the grazer guy, how do you like? You're like the tech person. You're always on the computer and stuff like that. But do you get your time to come out here?
Oh, I get the phone calls. You've got to move the cows. So we've got the, yeah. And before the boys, I used to, move them. But here it's just, the boys will ride out here. The wire lifters are a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
You can move the cows and you can check them and make sure it's okay, but you can be gone more than 2 hours at a time. So,
Yeah.
We come out and we'll check the cows and do our thing if need.
And how great for like a family management standpoint too, that you with 2 young children, you're like, no, they're taken care of unless there's like an emergency or something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah, because you feel like when you get that emergency call, you're like, okay, let's find our shoes. Because you can't just come out here in your tent, because our grass is usually, it's shoulder high on little boys. So you have to prepare to go to the pasture.
Yeah.
I've got it reprogrammed. It should
Okay.
raise here in a minute or
So how do you program that? It's on your phone?
No, it's just it's got its own little computer chip, and you just
Okay.
set the time. You can actually program them out 4 days. So like if we move 4 times per day, but if somebody wanted to move once every 4 days, and you had 4 of them, you could actually set them up, and one would raise today, tomorrow, the next day, and so they're programmable out to 96 hours.
Are they expensive?
$450 a piece.
So not terribly expensive.
The time saving factor is well worth it too.
Even for just one.
Yeah.
To help yourself out.
And I started out with 2 because I always come in the evening as well to check to make sure their water's still. When you got portable water, sometimes things happen. A water hose blows apart, or they knocked. It's very, very seldom, but every once in a while they knock a trough over or something. So, plus when we graze this intensively, I mean, you can look right there. It's fairly tight.
Very tight. I was going to ask you that next.
That's 700,000 pounds of stock density right there.
So what about up front that we walked through, that big field we came through? That was a lot bigger. Is that because? Oh, there it goes.
Yep.
That was fast. Look at it. Oh, they know. Oh my gosh. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at them. They are running. I hope we can get that beeping on camera. And they yelled to each other too. They're like, hey everybody, it's open. The gate's open. Oh my. Well, that was a really cool interruption. So these little, you call them cells.
Yeah.
So these cells are much smaller than when we walked through.
Yeah.
Why that? Why is it different?
Well, they just progressed. It was like that up there. I just don't set a back fence behind them.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's this is the 3rd and final day in this cell. So I don't set a back fence as we come. So the very first day they would have just started out in one like this. That would have been, the water would have been in there. They would have grazed it. Then the wire lifter would have raised. And so throughout the day they have access to what they've previously grazed that day.
Do they go back
Day
and graze
two,
it?
not usually because it's so fouled, manure and urine and all. There might be a little, but generally not.
Yeah.
And so then day two, at the end of day two, they'd have access to 2 days worth of sales. And like tonight, they'll have access from here all the way back to where we come through the fence.
And then you're gonna move them into here.
I'll just move them
tomorrow.
over. One, we'll utilize this poly here will just be the new side.
Okay.
I'll set another one over there. I'll subdivide it. We'll move the water over here. One nice thing about getting them trained to walk under a wire, I'll just raise this. I can just pick one of those pigtail posts up and hold it over my head, and they'll all walk right under there into this one, and here we go again.
Okay, so I'm really curious for both of you.
Okay.
Like you said, you didn't grow up farming, so you didn't know what everyone else was doing. You didn't know it was normal. So did you start with this? Like using these?
No, we started out just doing some rotation. So we have always done some form of rotational grazing.
Okay.
Some. It was much in the beginning. It was a very, we might not move them once a week, every 2 weeks or something. And then you keep learning, you keep observing, you keep seeing things happening that you don't like. You want to continue to improve the landscape, and if you observe what's happening, you realize that maybe you're not doing as good a job as you thought you was, and so you just keep evolving, or I did. I just kept wanting to get better. I just kept wanting to do a better job grazing and a better job grazing, and so that's landed us here. We've been doing full-on ultra-high stock density non-selective grazing for 2 years now.
Okay.
And you can see the
yeah, it's beautiful.
We've seen the most land improvement, the fastest, the most, and increase in carrying capacity, which means you can carry more cows, which means you can make more money. Like we said, you have to be profitable. So we want to carry the highest number of cows that we can on the landscape, and this is so far this is the best way that we've found to do it. It will, most of these cows out here are predominantly black Angus, but they're going to get to where it's getting too hot for them. They won't like it. So it's always leading you to the next thing. So we now use Mashona genetics, which is an African breed of cow that's very heat tolerant. They're a little smaller framed. We've got a number of composite Mashona cows in there. Actually, some of them will start calving here in May 10th, and we're really liking those. We don't have to give them shade very often. They can just get out here and graze and do what cows are supposed to do.
I just learned about the Mashona breed, which 6th generation cattle farmer. I know all the breeds. I went to all the cattle shows, right? I just learned about the Mashona breed, and I'd forgotten what the breed was until you said it. And I was like, that's what Shane's doing, and he's in Louisiana.
Yep.
And he's doing some experiments, and he's got a Mashona bull. But that is cool. It's cool to see their frame, their temperament.
That's a half Mashona right there.
This 104?
Yep. And
she was looking at me earlier.
And that 17 right there is one also. Okay.
And they look good, but they're not like your typical fat beef cow.
They're a little more, they're going to be a little bit slimmer and a little bit smaller frame. We think that's just the very first cross right there. She's out of a full-blood Mashona bull. We AI bred. We don't have a Mashona bull of our own. They're hard to come by. Good ones. They're very high demand, so we just utilize semen. We do have some 50% Mashona bulls that we've raised that we'll be breeding with this year, along with AI. We'll still going to do some AI work and some natural service work, and we'll be getting rid of the AI altogether. It's just sort of a necessity
when you want those genetics.
Yeah, because the availability of those genetics is a little bit harder to come by.
Yeah.
So, but they really improve our cattle as far as being able to thrive in an all grass environment, grazing in a way that you can improve the land.
What is your next improvement goal or project that you're working on?
I mean, we just like to, as we're growing the size of our farm, growing the size of our cow herd, we got to grow our customer base. So that's our push going forward. We'll keep up the grazing and the cattle management. I'm not saying that there's always room for improvement, but we've got a pretty good dialed in on the management. The genetics, we are working on that as fast as nature will allow. Customers, you know, that's the big thing. You have to, it doesn't matter if you got the best functioning ecosystem in the world and the best genetics and you convert grass efficiently. If you can't sell your product, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So you are selling online. And you have your website. Are you going to farmers markets as well? No, you're not doing that. Okay. So basically you're just on your online presence and you're kind of growing your online market that way. Is that right, Brandi?
That's true. And we have a little bit different philosophy on selling. So, I mean, we pretty much do whole butchery, eighths, quarters, halves, and wholes.
Oh, you don't do retail?
No, well, I mean, we don't do individual cuts and we don't do steaks. I mean, there's 24 ribeyes in an animal.
Yeah.
450 pounds of meat.
Isn't that, we'd had customers that like, well, what do you mean you're out of steaks already? I'm like, you know, I am working really hard to make me a cow that will give me only ribeyes. But until then, well, we don't have many.
We get that every day, and we'll do smaller bundles with excess because an eighth doesn't break down. Right. As an eighth, if you really, you know, we do a package. Right. So you know what you're getting. Okay. You order from us, but we have to do customer education. And we're asking people to buy beef the way their grandparents did. And even if you're selling, I mean, if you sold 100 animals a year, in the scheme of things, that's not that many people. Yeah. But they're so used to running to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. They're also used to running to the farmer's market, buying just like they would at the grocery store. Yeah. That's not necessarily helping out the farmer. So we really want to educate people. Hey, I didn't feel like this 15 years ago. I buy bulk everywhere I go. Yeah. I don't want to have to go back to the store. Yeah. I want to have it. I want to be stocked up. Yeah. And if you're buying from a farm, no matter what farm, buy as much as you can buy and store. Yeah. Because that will help them out. Yeah. They're not making any money selling you a steak or a pound of hamburger at a time, especially if it's a small farm. Yeah. And they're not having to buy in. Yeah. You know, so, you know, we do try to educate people and show them how easy it is because it's really not that hard. But that's not the world that... You mean for the consumer, like it's not that hard to cook it? Not that hard to have it on hand and cook it and thaw it. It's really, I mean, you can even start frozen. There's I don't know how many chicken breasts I have put in our Instapot frozen. That is the best invention I've ever seen. That is, and it's just a whole different mindset because you remember your parents say, oh, you can't do that, or oh, you can't refreeze it. That's not true. Yeah. It is so easy. So we try to practice what we preach. We use the whole animal. We're cooking bone broth every week. We have it for breakfast, and it's so nutritious. Yeah. But you know, like you said, we have to grow our business, and the consumer that wants grass-fed beef, they want to buy local. Well, this is how you really need to buy it from people. Yeah. Because that's how they make their money. It's not. And we'll put your links to your website, your YouTube channel too, all in the description so that people can click on those. Here, let's hop back over. It's easier to walk. It is, isn't it? It might not be as clean, but but it's a little easier. A little easier. Yeah. And now being in the South, so like in Indiana, we don't really have too much of a snake problem. Yeah. But now I've been like down in the South for a little while. I'm always cautious, like, oh, I might get bit by a snake walking through this field. Or staying on an anthill again. Yeah. You know, I do better when I don't think about that because I get done like weed eating up to you've been in, and you're like, oh, it could have been a snake. I finished up weed eating some pasture. It's been a few years ago now, but I had fang marks in my muck boot. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was about the last time I did it. And you're like, well, apparently I got bit at some point. Wow. This has been so cool to see and to talk with you guys. I mean, you have to be the oldest farm that we've toured so far. This is just amazing. And I love what you guys are doing, especially in your consumer education. I think that is really important. So thanks for having me out today and showing me around and sharing your story with us. This has just been so cool and a really nice breath of fresh air. We appreciate you stopping by. Absolutely. Thank you guys. Okay, so when you've been
a farmer for so long, been in this space for so long, and then doing these tours. I mean, we visited over 50 farms, right? I think we're close to like 65 now. You start to feel like, oh, I've seen everything. Things get repetitive. And then this is our last stop in North Carolina, and I have never seen the setup that they have. And this is so stinking cool. I mean, these cows, the way that they ran into that fence, oh my gosh, or through it, I should say. Through it, no, under it. The way that they ran under the fence, absolutely amazing. I'm so thankful for all of the farmers that we've seen in North Carolina. This is our last stop in North Carolina. We are heading towards Virginia next. So we've got some awesome tours set up for you guys. You could probably guess a couple of the farmers that we're gonna go see. This journey has been so fun for us, and we are just gonna keep trudging on. Keep following us. If you haven't seen some of our other videos in North Carolina, go to the playlist. They're all in order. So the most recent videos are all in North Carolina. You can even go back to see where we've been before. We were in Georgia before that, Florida before that, Mississippi before that, Indiana and Michigan. So we're just gonna keep moving this on, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever and whenever you are.